Welcome to another episode of the animjam podcast. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Cryptoart. I actually have
Yeah,
no clue
I don't
really
have a
what it
lot of
is.
clue, honestly, as well.
Yeah,
But I think it's a
yeah,
new thing, like relatively speaking.
yeah,
So, and it's an interesting space. I think, especially if you're a digital artist,
mhm,
this could be like a big thing. So, yeah, that's why we kind of wanted to, touch on about this whole topic because, yeah, there's a lot of I think there's a lot of money to be made if you can
mhm,
get in early enough, if you can figure it out. And
mhm,
it's also like it's a game changer for digital art in general because as we all know before this whole crypto art thing, you can't make money off digital art because anyone can just copy a JPEG. Anyone can just, yeah, like download like some stuff on a website and use it wherever they want. They can put it on a wallpaper. Nobody's really charging for digital art because of that.
mhm.
But that's
Yeah,
where crypto art comes in. It's like it's a way to mint a piece of artwork so that it's got a signature, it's got a digital signature that's unique, that is traceable all the way back to the source, traceable all the way back to the creator, essentially, so that someone can actually like digitally own a piece of artwork and claim that they have ownership of over a piece of
mhm,
artwork, and
yeah,
it's traceable, so you can see that, okay, it's linked all the way back to the actual creator, so it prevents forgeries. And the whole concept is not really like downloading a JPEG is like, it's akin to like taking a photo of the Mona Lisa. You have a
mhm,
copy of it technically, but it's at the same time, it's like you don't really own it, like you can't claim ownership of it.
mhm,
But that's where the crypto art comes in. It's using like the whole blockchain technology
mhm.
to like mint the artwork, to make it like unique, to
Unique.
add it to
Yeah,
the database, like add it to the blockchain, so that it's part of the whole log, or whatever you want to call it, the
mhm,
manifest. You know.
yeah. So that's no, that's a really good explanation. Actually, I find this really interesting because um, firstly, I'll talk about how I sort of heard about this as well. So, as you know, I do trading on the side, and crypto has been blowing up. And funny enough, this sort of passed by passed by my radar these past few weeks, and a lot of people have been more in. Like I've been hearing a lot of people getting more into tokens and collectibles, and I think this sort of falls within that realm where, yeah, like for example, I heard in this NBA podcast that they were planning to, there's highlights from, these past 50 years of basketball. And they're thinking of, parts of these video highlights would be like considered a collectible and you can sell it. And only that person, I'm guessing, would have part of his like that part of history, I guess. It's like, yeah, it's like a collectible
Yeah.
collector's item sort of thing. And this is this is what's interesting for animation, or the art, I guess the art industry. We have a lot, like at least for animation, like we have a lot of problems when we're with people plagiarizing or like even quoting someone else's work. This is essentially, like you were saying earlier, this would really help with protecting that, your your ID on it, right? So you don't even need to fight for it, because I feel like before I've seen other people in different Facebook groups, say that, oh, this person took my shot, and
Yeah.
they have to fight and pretty much justify and clear their name, you know. And I find that like that was a big that was one of those big issues in animation that no one really talks about, and I think this would solve that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
a creative way using the blockchain. I think that's really where people are starting to see the opportunity
Mhm,
for like just blockchain technology in general. So
mhm,
because it's distributed and there's a manifest of, there's like a history log basically of everything. It's a way to
yeah.
like have a digital footprint on a piece of digital content, to
Mhm.
say that, hey, this is legitimate because I can trace the history, the
Yeah.
exchange of hands all the way back to the original creator. So I think
Mhm.
step one is like people are able to sell art. So that's kind of like a step one phase where we're kind of going through now. And then I think like later on down the line, step two or three would be kind of what you're saying, where people use blockchain to just protect like general things, like to say like, hey, this reel is authentic because it's
Mhm.
been it's been minted by like the VFX company to
Mhm.
and then handed over to the artist to say like, yeah, this is legitimate. Like this person
Yeah.
actually worked on this shot.
Yeah.
Um, as opposed to people just kind of like ripping stuff from movies and throwing it into a reel and sending it out. It's like, well, I see all these cool shots, but like, did this person actually work on these shots, or is it just kind
Exactly.
of like,
Yeah.
right now a lot of it's just word of mouth. So like, if you have some epic shots on your reel, then and you're applying for like a lead position, you know, people are
Mhm.
gonna ask around. They'll be like, okay, like, is this guy legit? Did he work at that company?
Mhm.
Number one, do we know
Yeah.
anyone that worked with him that can vouch for this person's skill and vouch that they actually
Mhm.
did this work? Um, that's kind of how it's going now, but is I'm sure there's a lot of gray area in that. But
Yeah.
I think a
Yeah.
step three would be like if we can mint this, make it official, so the a VFX company legitimately, you know,
Mhm.
says like, yeah, that's this is like actually their shots, and there's a way to trace
Yeah.
that digital information. And there's platforms and stuff that help like verify all this, so no one has to go manually digging. That could
Yeah.
be a really cool way to move forward in the future.
Yeah. It's like it really helps with the vetting process and
Yeah,
hiring, and um, but yeah, like,
yeah.
do you think that art like sort of seen as like a step below traditional art in terms of value?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like definitely in the past, like now, I think with the whole invent of crypto art,
Mhm.
that is going to change. I think there's going to be a huge shift.
Mhm.
Maybe like digital art might even become more of a thing,
Mhm.
than like traditional art because it's so much more accessible.
Mhm.
But then I think what will happen with this whole crypto art thing is what it means is like there's going to be digital artists who are gonna become more like fine artists, and there's
Mhm.
gonna be a lot of crap that everyone tries to throw out. And I think we were talking about this briefly, but I think really the good stuff is what anyone's gonna care about in the end, just like
Mhm.
traditional art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, why I wanted to ask that because it's yeah, I feel like there's a shift, it feels like digital art was always sitting behind traditional art. When you go to art galleries, like people pay billions or like, well, not billions, but a lot of money
yeah,
for a
hundreds
piece
of
of art,
millions.
like,
Yeah,
like a banana on, like I gave this example before, like a banana taped on a wall to me doesn't really make much sense. Whilst like there's so much good digital art out there, but it's seen as almost cheap or fabricated, if that's the
yeah,
right
yeah,
word. Um, and I
yeah.
think
It
maybe
seemed
this
as it
can,
was like lesser.
yeah, yeah,
It always seemed like, yeah, it's like it's not as cool, it's not as good as
hmm
traditional art for whatever reason. And I think in there's a lot of truth to that in general. Like there's a lot of crap digital art,
hmm
um, but there's a lot of crap traditional art. It's not like whether it's
yeah,
digital or traditional makes should make a difference. But there's
yeah,
always this like I think there's this like misconception that like yeah just because it's digital it's not good, but it
yeah,
always comes back to like what is the art about, right? It's like
hmm
if the
yeah,
art's just a painting, then maybe it doesn't have that much meaning. But if it's a painting about something, if it's trying to say something, then there should be some meaning behind it. There's
hmm
value in that piece of
yeah,
art. And I think that is a good segue to
yeah,
into Beeple
yeah,
crap, which
yeah,
I'm sure like a lot of you guys already know who he is. But just for those that don't know, he's a digital artist. who's been making artwork once a day. He's been making like I think unique art once a day for like 14 years, I think.
That's
So
crazy. Yeah.
it's insane. And then the quality of his art isn't like crap either. It's like really good stuff. And to keep that up for 14 years, 13 years every day is insane. So yeah, I should
Yeah.
screen share.
Yeah.
Screen share.
Like I can't even, be consistent with for I don't know, something about is even like as fixing my bed, every day.
Yeah.
And this guy's like day doing artwork. That's amazing.
Yeah. Can you see
Yeah.
the screen? Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you guys don't follow him, I think he's definitely worth a follow. But yeah, we were saying like I don't think he was making particularly a lot of money from his artwork. But recently
Mm.
with the advent of crypto art, I think it was the last couple of weeks ago, he made over $3 million by selling his artwork online through like
Yeah.
yeah, through the whole crypto art process.
Oh my
He's
god,
got
it's
a
so
lot of funny
creepy.
ones. Yeah,
Oh
but
my
his
god.
art's definitely saying something. It's not just like
Yeah.
art for art's sake. So
It's
it's
polarized, or yeah,
yeah,
it's trying to.
it's
There's a message behind it.
there's a message, like there's message behind his
Yeah.
work. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty provocative, a lot of the stuff too. Like,
Oh,
I
dude, I
mean,
love
look
that
at
one.
this.
That's like, what's that show? The Boys. Have you
Yeah.
seen it? Yeah.
I haven't watched The Boys. I don't know.
Oh man, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So there's yeah, he's got so many cool things. Like he even does
Yeah.
animated stuff too. So there's some things that are
What?
actually yeah. So the guy is talented. There's no doubt about that.
Wow.
He definitely knows what he's doing. And
Oh,
he does 2D, he does 3D, he does mix. Yeah, he does all kinds of stuff. And I think that's what
wow.
yeah, that's why he can do so many diverse looking things. I guess he can leverage
Yeah.
both his 3D and his 2D knowledge and
Yeah.
combine it. Like this one's got
That's
like a lot of
awesome.
3D in there. And then like some of the, like this one looks like it might be a mix of 2D and 3D, maybe more
Hmm.
2D. Maybe this is all 2D. But yeah, it's cool how finally, I think after so many years, after like 13 years of work, he got his payday. And then yeah, this is just some of like I think his promotion on his crypto art.
Uh,
Yeah, so he sold like a bunch of different artworks. He made like so some of them have like multiple copies of the art. So he'll sell like 100 copies of this particular art and that's it.
hmm.
And the cool thing about crypto art is once he sells it and people resell his art, he gets a commission. So he gets a 10% commission on every resale that happens forever.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah. So like he's still making money from the art he sold during the sale because people are just buying and reselling his artwork and trying to flip it and make money. And like some of his pieces have gone up to like 50, 60,000. There's one piece,
Wow.
Bull Run, I think, is up to like it's up to like 50 something thousand. It's pretty crazy. Like it's probably higher than that
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
he's definitely making a lot of money on the back end of all those
Yeah.
resales.
Wow. That's really crazy.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I think
amazing
that's great
because
though. It's great that
yeah,
he made it, and then he still gets commission when people are trying to like. It's enough. Like, for example, like the person who's selling it is still making money. That 10% is just like it's not much from like the overall cost of him selling selling it to someone else. So it's great that
yeah,
the artist still gets a commission from it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's
Because if you
really,
think about
I think,
it's fair because like he's making the least out of the sales
yeah,
because he's the first one selling it. If it gets
yeah,
resold, it'll get resold for way more. Somebody else could stand and make way more money than he would because of it.
Hmm.
And that's fine too. If you're good at flipping art and flipping stuff, then sure.
Yeah.
But then he gets a commission.
Hmm.
He's happy. The people
Hmm.
are reselling and are happy. Everybody's happy. And then I think this is where the power comes in. It's so powerful because you can't do that with traditional art. It's very
Hmm.
hard to do that. Get a
Yeah.
commission for the artwork that you made. There's artists
Yeah.
out there who have their art sold who didn't even get paid a cent, I think, for their own art. And then they might see their art resold like so many times. Like I think they were
Yeah.
trying to resell like Banksy art and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't think he sees any of that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
wow.
that's
This
that's
is
what's
good.
sad
This
about
makes it
the
fair. This makes it
yeah.
fair.
And I
Yeah.
think this makes it makes it more enticing for people to want to do digital art because of this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I do get commission if I can resell my art. And
Hmm.
yeah, maybe I should show some of these platforms. I've got some platforms here that
Yeah.
actually are where people are buying and selling this crypto art. And then this is where people, I think a lot of these platforms allow you to mint your artwork. So when you join and I think there's a vetting process for a lot of these websites just to make sure that the art
Hmm.
that's on there isn't just crap, that like it's
Yeah.
legitimate art. It's not like people
Yeah.
just spend like 5 minutes doodling and then throw it up there, trying to make a
Yeah.
quick buck. Although some of this stuff does look a bit questionable. But yeah, I think there's like some of these websites are like fully vetted, and then you can mint your artwork. So I think they actually allow you to make it like as part of the blockchain. So it's got like it can be
Yeah.
traced back to you, so you get your commissions and all that sort of good stuff. But yeah, I haven't checked out any of these. I've just kind of heard from other people, other YouTubers, other places online that these are the websites that people go on. But
No,
yeah,
yeah,
this is pretty cool stuff.
it's good that they have these platforms because I guess we can talk about it after.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're looking like we're thinking about going in on
yeah.
this and see what the marketplace is like. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see how much some of these things are being sold for, like
Yeah.
8,000 something. I mean, these aren't like small amounts for sure.
Mhm.
And I think there's definitely money to be made if you're a legitimate artist, like a legitimate digital artist, and you
Mhm.
wanted to make some money. You could sell your art, and I think this is the way. This is the only way I think is makes
Mhm.
any sense moving forward to sell digital art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because I was also thinking that um, we actually briefly talked about it how AI and that machine learning episode, where I think a lot of modelers and artists in that department will lose their jobs because of scanning and all that. All that everything's like it's so automated now, right?
Yeah.
This gives them a chance to actually use that skill again, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think
this
in a
sort
lot of
sort of created a new
ways,
marketplace for them.
yeah, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like like when you're doing that sort of work in a job, you don't a lot of times you don't feel like an artist. You're just making stuff. You're a craftsman. You've spent a lot of time honing your craft,
Mhm.
and you're being commissioned to do certain works, but you don't feel like an artist. You're not
You'll believe
expressing.
it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not expressing yourself, your ideals, you're not like questioning society. You're not doing all these like things that like you would consider
Mhm.
art, right? It's just you're
Mhm.
doing a craft. You're just creating something from scratch. It's like making furniture. That's not really art.
Yeah.
It's a craft. Um,
Yeah.
Although there's like some people who might argue that like yeah, like making furniture is an art form, and sure, I can see there's
Mhm.
truth to that too. But it's like art to me is if you have something to say, you know,
Yeah.
that's
For
what I
sure.
think like real art is. Everything else to me is just like
Mhm.
it's just craft.
I can't even imagine what the next like 5 years would look like because now I feel like the whole art landscape is sort of changing in front of our eyes right now.
Yeah, yeah. This is like
It just happened so quickly. It felt
yeah,
like it just suddenly changed overnight.
Yeah, and then so many things too. Like it's not just like the art, the selling art itself. It's like the way we make it, the way we approach it completely changes now.
Mhm,
It's because it's like, okay, now I have a legitimate audience that I can make art for, that people
mhm.
who are willing to buy this sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
how do I start approaching my art differently? Maybe I approach it more like fine art than just
Mhm,
like as a craft, because I think in the past a lot of digital art has just been like trying to make things look as real, as pretty, as like well refined as possible.
mhm.
But whereas traditional art, a lot of times like,
It's
like you don't
abstract.
care. Yeah, it's abstract. You
Yeah.
don't care how it looks. I mean, this
Mm.
if this was traditional
Chinese.
art, people yeah. Yo, that's offensive.
Yeah.
No,
This mother.
no, I'm joking. But yeah, like the approach is different because it's not so
Yeah.
much about how good you are as an artist. It's more about like the message you're trying to convey and what you're trying to
Mhm.
say. And it's
Yeah.
not about how many hours that you spend creating the actual artwork itself. And it's more
Mhm.
about like how many hours have you thought about the art before you created it. You know,
Mhm.
there's a lot more
Yeah.
thought behind it and intent behind it. So I think people will start approaching digital art more like fine art in that sense.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a great thing because
Mhm.
yeah, more voices will be heard, and yeah,
Yeah.
more important
No, this
things will be
is
said.
yeah. That's a really good point that you mentioned that digital art tends to be more a replica of uh, real world, like sort of like VFX. Like they really tried to make it a copy of the real world. Whilst fine art, it could be absolutely anything, and no one would question it. If anything, you get
Yeah.
applauded for it for being for the ingenuity. You know,
Yeah, exactly. For
yeah,
painting like four squares, not to
yeah.
dis like Rothko because
Yeah.
he's like he's famous, but um, yeah, it's the yeah. I think that's how people thought about digital art. They're like, it's just
Mm.
like it's just people like mimicking real art. It's not real art, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of like you can see just already. There's a lot of people actually trying to make real art and
yeah,
finally getting recognition for it. So
yeah,
that's a great thing.
yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah. So these
Cool.
are some of the websites. I'm gonna stop screen sharing, but yeah, I think it's worth if you guys are interested, worth checking it out. You guys should leave in the comments if you guys know any more about crypto art because it's all new to us. I only
Mm.
kind of just did like some brief research and just these are our thoughts.
Yeah, if you guys if you guys know anything about it, yeah, leave it in the comments. If you are one of the trailblazers who started this, it would be awesome to hear you guys talk about it. We would love to
Yeah.
learn more. And yeah, also we started a Discord channel recently. We talk about all kinds of things, including I'm guessing from now on crypto art as well.
Yeah.
So it'd be
Yeah.
good to have you guys over to have these discussions and sort of see what's the next trend in our industry and sort of maybe even help move the industry into a certain way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We've got a whole channel just talking about like making income and making side income, making I don't know, like actual income. And
Mhm.
I think this like if you guys are like buying crypto art and reselling it, and you're finding that it's making money and all these kinds of things, we'd love to hear about it in the Discord channel.
Yeah, because a lot of other artists, need want that sort of help as well. To have a little side hustle or some passive income. Um, it's not easy being an artist, as all you artists know. So
Yeah.
yeah, hop on over. We would love to see you there and have these discussions. But for now, I guess we'll call it the end of this episode about crypto art. Peace. Thanks for watching or listening to our content. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again. Peace.